Good evening, everyone. I am Mark, your fat friend,
And I'm James, your black friend.
and this is the Fat and Black Connection, where we talk about anything and
Oh,
everything.
are we on the?
Yeah,
Oh, oh, what in
this
the
is,
world?
yeah, it's your internet, which
What?
I warned you about before we went live.
Yeah, it was good just a second ago. Yeah,
Well, anyways,
that's weird.
this is the
Yeah,
Fat and Black Connection. We are
yeah, we can talk
live.
about anything. Yeah, it's it live. It's all live.
Yeah, so things go crazy when we go live, evidently.
Yeah, likes to.
Yeah, you're killing me over there. Anyways, this is a live and interactive broadcast. What does that mean, James? Can you tell the people?
That means we want your questions, we want your comments, we want everything.
Yes, so for the thousands in attendance and the millions. Uh, yes. So we do have a special guest with us tonight. We'll be bringing him on in a little bit.
Oh yeah,
You may know him as the voice of the announcer on season 2 of Murphy's Inc. You may also
right.
know him as the voice of Jack R. Abbott from Murder by Garlic.
That is correct.
And that's the fabulous, fantastic Connor Howard. He'll be here in just a little bit.
Connor Howard. Yep.
But before we get to that, we've got some stuff to go over. First and foremost, though, of course, one of the most important things of the evening. I've got a tasty beverage that I wanted to share with you. Interesting imagery, kind of creepy.
Yeah.
This is Lead Dog Brewing, and it's Left for Red Ale. Lead Dog's one and only red ale, crisp, easy drinking, and a perfect malty flavor will have you crawling back for more.
Yeah, Lead Dog makes some good stuff.
5.9% alcohol by volume, 1 pint, 29 IBUs. Let's see.
Pop the top.
That's pretty good red ale. You know,
Right.
I've of late have been really enjoying red ales.
No, yeah, red ales. I've always kind of liked the reds. And so for me, I'm not doing anything alcoholic tonight, but um, this is the 2023 Mountain Dew Voodoo. So every year Mountain Dew comes out with this mystery flavor during like the Halloween season. So I decided, what the heck, I haven't had it since it first came out. So so I'm gonna give this one a try, see what's up.
So
See
it's a
what
mystery flavor. You have no idea what it actually is going to taste like.
No idea. I didn't even look it up because sometimes once it comes out, people will post what it tastes like, and so I didn't even go look it up so to make sure that this is a fully blind.
What's it smell like? Grapefruit.
No, it smells like Skittles again.
Skittles. Okay.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh no, that's Starburst. I'm smelling. And it tastes kind of like a Starburst candy. Like the strawberry one.
The pink one?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, they just took C4 and put it in a Mountain Dew bottle.
Very well could have. Yeah.
Okay. Well, while you're
Pretty
sipping
good.
and enjoying that, I thought I would let you know. Last week on Friday, I went to a Tim McGraw concert.
Oh,
Good
nice.
friend of the show, also the voice of Thorgest on Murphy's Inc. Angel Kabarlock. He had some tickets and was like, "You want to go?" And I said, "Sure, let's go check it out." I'm not a huge country guy. I used to could, but I was actually surprised at how many of his songs I actually knew.
Oh yeah.
But conversely, I was very disappointed in his performance.
No. Well,
I feel like he gave 50% at best.
well, it was Reno. Where where was it?
So it was over at the amphitheater that they have set up outside the Nugget in
Okay.
Sparks. Yeah, it. I don't know. It seats a couple thousand. I think like 5 to 8,000 people. So it was packed. There was a lot of people there. But
People love
yeah,
that Tim. People love Tim.
evidently. Got to get there, Tim McGraw. So, it was interesting. It was a good time. We ate an entire pizza. We got a large, big old pizza, me and Angel, and we ate through the whole thing. Drank some nice beers at a local place right around the corner. That's actually a wine bar, but they had beer. So
There you go. That helps.
but yeah, it was
Drive business by any means necessary.
absolutely. So yeah, it was a good time. Um, speaking of good times, we
Good time.
well, just for a couple of minutes, we really have to talk about KaboomCon,
Kaboom Con.
which is of course coming in less than a year now.
Less.
Yes, we're at 11 months and some days, but we got a whole new crop, if you will, of new vendors to talk about. So let's bring them up.
Let's
shall we?
talk about them.
So first up, we got Three Arrows Games. This is a company that sells tabletop trading card games. We've got a couple of those, right?
Yeah.
So they will be at the con. Next up, we've got
Brittany Anna Creations.
Brittany Anna Creations. That's right, where she does some really interesting jewelry styles, as well as some other assorted goodies. But yeah, I checked out their Facebook page and whatnot, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. Next up, we got Freckled Fingers Creation.
Freckled Fingers.
Yes, and they do interesting, unique purses, wallets, and plaques.
Huh. Who doesn't like purses? Who doesn't like plaques?
Next up, what do you think the name of this business is?
What is that? A red with the halo? Oh, I didn't see the halo last time. Interesting.
So this is Wood Devil Designs, where they do some really amazing art, including works of art on automobiles, pinstriping and doing decaling and stuff. It's
nice.
Yeah.
Now, do they actually make stuff out of wood?
They do stuff out of wood as well. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Wood Devil Designs kind of.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying.
I guess you don't have to, but
I'm saying because it could be like their last name is Wood, and Wood Devil. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. That could work. This next one doesn't have a logo. They're so new to the game. This is Crazy K's Crafts, where they make handmade earrings, bracelets, 3D figure painting kits, knitted items, pom-pom gnomes, and so much more. I am very interested to see what a pom-pom gnome is.
Yeah. I wonder if it's like remember the old Kush balls and they had like the little figures on them?
Maybe. I feel like that's something people collect in the Midwest. Maybe Connor can tell us what a pom-pom gnome is when we bring him in. I feel like that's something.
That sounds country.
I'll bet he has one. He probably has a pom-pom gnome. And I love that we get to see him and I can see him laughing down in the corner. That's always fun for me. So this next one, this is Kitsune's, and I'm probably butchering the name. Kitsune's Treasures. And they've got a pretty cool Etsy store with, and this is me quoting them: nerdy, geeky, anime resin keychains, jewelry, miscellaneous, sewn dice bags, sewn plushies.
Oh, all right.
So, yeah, kind of cool. Retro Replay. This is actually a store I've been to in Carson. I love going there. They've got a lot of the old school video game systems and games. I actually... at one point when I was like downgrading and getting rid of a bunch of stuff, I actually sold my N64 and all of my old games and a bunch of stuff to them to make space before I had a kid.
Yeah. Well.
Next up, we've got Long-Legged Something Press. So
Press.
Press is not in their logo. So this is a press or an author company with books. They've most recently released the novel Crossing the Ford. So yeah, we've got a lot of authors coming. I was very surprised by that. And I'm happy about it because the more the merrier.
Maybe get some crossover events.
Yeah, maybe we should do AuthorCon or I don't know, NovelCon.
No, you get your novels here.
It's quite a novel event.
Oh boy,
Ah, ah,
what did Five Fingers say? The face.
Smack. So we also had a huge announcement this week over at KaboomCon that food and beverage vendor applications are coming soon. Not just food trucks. So this will be
vendors.
Any food or beverage vendor. The important piece here is that it is going to be set up in a parking lot on the west side of where the facility is.
Yeah.
So there is not going to be any power provided. But if you've got your generators, you've got your own power, or a food truck for that matter, or you don't need the power, then it's not an issue. So we're going to have applications and spaces available. I'm hoping to get that dialed in and ready to go in the next month, so people can start planning, prepping for that. And I can tell you, we've already received interest from 5 different vendors that are ready and eager to go.
Are any of them beer involved?
Not yet. However, one of them is a cookie vendor. And I went to her webpage to see some of the cookies that she does. They are very impressive.
Okay.
So I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I think we need to we need to hand deliver. You need to hand deliver one to Shishboom. Be like, get your team out here.
I would love to get a Shishboom truck out there. I don't know if they have one, but I do enjoy their beers. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the main thing. I just need I want some beer.
I need some beer. All right. Well, it's come to that part of the show where before we bring out our special guest for the evening, before we do that, let's talk about Murphy's Inc. and where we are. So episode 4 just aired on Sunday, replaying on Friday, and then of course releasing in podcast format coming up. It is the if you will, finale of the arc of that part of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we're about to unveil is episode 5's art, as well as the synopses. So are you ready for it?
Let's do it.
Are you excited for it?
So excited.
Yeah. There it is. Murphy's Inc. in critical condition.
Oh.
Synopses. Daphne, the librarian, and intern 2 make the jump back to 1258 CE Baghdad and start learning their new environment, while Michael's team waits to hear on an update on Felipe. So in this image from left to right, we've got Daphne, we've got the librarian, and we've got intern 2, voiced by you.
That is correct. And actually, we had Kaz on last week.
Yeah, we had the librarian on last week, Kaz, and a couple weeks before that, we had Daphne and Michael.
So you've seen us all.
Yeah, just about. But now we're going to bring in the announcer.
The voice.
The voice of the announcer for season 2 of Murphy's Inc. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. We've talked about him a lot here because we love working with this guy. Connor Howard.
Connor Howard, baby.
The man with 2 first names. How are you?
That's me. I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
Living the dream. And again, ladies and gentlemen, this is live interactive. If you have a question for Connor, don't hesitate. The more embarrassing, the better. So,
hey, Connor, what's your middle name?
My middle name is Joshua.
So he's got 3 first
names. Three first names, yeah.
That's always fun. So,
all right.
So, Connor, what we like to do at the start of any of these segments, if you will, is to give you a couple minutes, tell the people who you are, what you do, and why are you here?
Those are big questions. Who am I? What am I doing here?
Existential.
They should have sent a poet. They should have sent a philosopher. No, I'm psyched to be here. It's a blast already. Yeah, my name's Connor. I'm just a normal guy. I'm Ohioan, born and raised. I grew up in Central Ohio. I live in Cleveland now. Best city in the world, Cleveland, Ohio. I will die on that hill.
Cleveland rocks.
Cleveland rocks, absolutely. I've been, I guess, an actor for. Oh, hi, Jenny. Jenny saying hi. I guess I've been an actor on and off for a lot of my life. I was like, a creative, introverted but creative kid, and I did some, drama club in high school. I did some, improv and sketch comedy workshops growing up. I really got away from it in college, though. When I was in college, I completely dropped all performance hobbies. I could have done it. Like I could have done, improv and acting in college. I just didn't make time for it. So kind of got away from it for a while. Rediscovered performing just a few years ago. I just turned 30 in 2020, basically, and it was
Such
around
a
that
young
time.
pup.
Yeah, really. I didn't feel like a young pup. It was one of those things like, hey, you're turning 30, get serious. Do you want to be an actor or not? And because I'd thought about like, oh, just being a voice actor would be like some weight off, because I'd be nervous on stage, I'd be nervous in person, but having that sort of separation, just relying on your voice as your acting tool appealed to me. And so I just kind of looked into it, started getting some coaching, started doing some auditions. And I guess I would say I've been a hobbyist voice actor for going on 3 years now, roughly. And just been fortunate enough to work with these fine gentlemen on some really cool little projects.
Did he call us fine gentlemen?
It's true. Take the
Wow.
compliment.
Wow.
But no, for real, like it's been some cool
lose
stuff.
viewers. Calm down.
Yeah, you've got a reputation. I'm sorry, I don't mean to damage your reputation.
Oh man, I was like, who's he talking about? Who else he been working with?
But no, yeah, I've been fortunate enough to do some cool stuff over the last couple of years, and outside of that, I'm just a normal guy. I live with my wife and our cat and our bird in our little house in the suburbs, and I go to work. I have a day job. Have some other hobbies. Yeah, it's a pretty normal life, nothing too crazy over here. But yeah, it's really one of those things. Like I'm not out to get famous or anything. I just enjoy the process of like being creative and creating fantastic circumstances and being authentic in those circumstances. That's what acting is all about to me. That's kind of like one of the nuggets of wisdom I've picked up along the way from some of the coaches I've worked with and whatnot. And no, just here for the thank you. Yeah, but just here for a good time. That's all. And I guess if we're doing delicious beverages, I have a pretty nice beer right here. It's actually, I'm not a big IPA guy. I don't really drink a lot of IPAs, but this is a fruit. It's called the Tropical Merc Juice. And it's a fruited IPA from Sixth Sense Brewing, and it's pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie.
Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, and James, respect. I like the Voodoo myself. I've been trying some of the Halloween Mountain Dew myself.
Yeah. No, like this one was actually pretty darn good. I think
I like it.
Yeah, this one was actually good. I'm not a big, like most of the Mountain Dew. I'm not a huge fan of in general, but yeah, no, every once in a while the Voodoo catches me, and I'm like, oh, that one, yeah, that's the one.
It's honestly a little sad how much of a Dew fiend I am. I've been kind of addicted to Mountain Dew, like for most of my life.
Dew fiend.
I'm a Dew fiend a little bit. Like when I was
Wait,
a
have
kid,
you had the what was it, the Mountain Dew hard or hard?
Oh yeah, I've tried the hard Mountain Dew. Yes.
Yeah.
Like I took a 6-pack with me to a friend's trip last year, and we all shared the hard Mountain Dews, and we were all a little underwhelmed with them, honestly. Like, it was like
the Mountain Dew flavor is garbage.
Yeah.
But the watermelon one is good. The black cherry one is good. And I'm not even a Baja Blast fan, but like if they had one that just had those three in it minus the Mountain Dew, I'd be all good, because those three were actually really good. The
cherry flavor and Baja flavor were both really good. I remember liking those a lot. But yeah, it was a variety pack. It was hit and miss, but no, when I was a kid, I would just guzzle Mountain Dew. I was hyper, bouncing off the wall.
And count be damned.
Yeah, really.
He was that kid.
These days I really stick to the zero sugar stuff. I try not to drink my calories too much. It's getting old. That's kind of how it is, but
and it's very easy to do.
It is. It really is. Yeah. But to answer your question, Mark, I think I'm vaguely aware of what a pom-pom gnome is. It's
how did I know? How did I know?
I'm a country boy. What can I say? I believe it's a certain subset of garden gnome that, like, instead of the pointy hat, it has a little pom pom hat instead of like the cone hat.
Interesting.
Oh, gotcha.
If I had to guess, like, I feel like, growing up in rural, I grew up in semi-rural Ohio. I saw a lot of garden gnomes.
So
not quite.
if I throw out OH,
I have to. It's
my guy.
It's in my DNA at this point. No choice.
Next
You
week
don't-
on our show, we'll have somebody from Oklahoma and spell that out too.
You don't even understand how much of a cult it is in, like, growing up around Columbus. Like,
No, I absolutely 100%
Yeah.
know. That's why anybody who comes through my airport who's from
Mhm.
Ohio, I make them
Mhm.
do it. That's my
Yeah.
test for them.
and my buddy Steve's in the chat. He gives us the IO.
Yeah, there we
Thanks,
go.
Steve,
So-
the
Steve
skeptic.
knows.
Steve's, yeah, that's my buddy Steve from back home. It's honestly, growing up in Columbus, like, if you weren't a Buckeyes fan, you were a leper. So, like, that's what I had to deal with growing
I
up.
keep seeing all these Michigan fans posing and move to Ohio. I'm like, yo, that's it. You are disrespecting right now.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I like Michigan as a state, as a place. Like, I've visited Michigan a few times. It's a beautiful state. So, like, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand the rivalry. I guess
It's college football, baby.
I know it's
Big
weird.
college football, and if you're a Spartan fan in Michigan, it's either
Mhm.
you're either a Spartan or you're a Wolverine, and
Mhm.
either way,
Yep.
Ohio don't like you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've never been a big sports guy. I've tried to get into. I don't really follow the sports that well. I will say I do enjoy going to baseball games, though, like, as just a outing, just as an activity with friends. Like, if
You're
it's
at
a
a
nice
Guardians
day
game?
out. Oh yeah, well, I've been to a couple. Oh, actually, they were still the Indians at the time. I haven't been to a Guardians game yet. That's a whole other story. Yeah,
Locally, have you guys accepted that yet?
I think it generally has caught on. I think as a city, like, most people I talk to, it's kind of like, yeah, Guardians, whatever. I'm on board. Most people I talk to, at least. But there was definitely a
took a minute.
vibe around the city. There were some diehards who were like, I'm not calling them the Guardians, but
yeah.
yeah.
Drink the Kool-Aid, you'll get it there. And actually, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like with baseball, it's one of those things where, like, if I'm at a game, it's cool. If I'm trying,
Mhm.
it's so hard to try and watch baseball on TV. I'm not
I can't. Yeah, I cannot watch baseball on TV.
The only
but I will-
time, the
yeah.
only time I can watch it on TV is during playoffs and
Mhm.
World Series. Yeah,
Yeah, I
All-Star
might.
game.
Right. I might watch football on TV only during the Super Bowl, like when it's like an actual event, but otherwise I don't really watch sports TV at all. But yeah, if it's a nice day out and I'm, like, there with a couple people at the Guardians game at Progressive Field, some of us still call it Jacobs Field. No, it's a great way to kill a day, but yeah, just not a big sports guy in general. So I was a bit of a pariah growing up. Like, oh, you don't like the Buckeyes? Like, I just don't care. Like, it just doesn't apply to me, I guess. I don't know.
how dare you?
Yeah, I know.
I actually went to a baseball game over the weekend. I went to a minor league, the Reno Aces. Went
Okay.
and saw them play. It was the final home game of the season.
Nice.
And it was cool because after the game, they let the kids run the bases. So I
Oh.
made my kid go out there and run the bases.
Oh,
That's
Mater,
fun.
just
Didn't
go
let
run
her.
these bases.
Well, I
Run
mean,
these bases. You're gonna like it.
I had to make her a little bit because she was scared
Uh-huh.
because parents can't go out there. So I basically had to let her go out at, like, left field, like way behind first base, and she had to run all the way to first base by herself and then
Mhm.
run around the bases.
Huh.
But she did it. I was very proud because I didn't.
Good for her.
I was
That's
worried
great.
I was going to have to go out there to get her. So
That's great. You love to see that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That sounds
So Connor, I hear you like to do cosplay.
Every now and then, every so often, I've been known to dress up a little bit. I've really only done it a couple times. I know you noticed my Mando helmet behind me. That's part of a Mandalorian cosplay that I put together a while back. Well, I say put together. I actually commissioned it. I kind of cheated. I just got, like, some guy to make it for me. It's like I don't have the time or the ability to do this myself, but
Ain't no
I can.
shame.
pay
I
for it,
have
so,
the money.
Yeah, exactly.
Ain't no shame.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I know my limits. I'm gonna go to the experts. But no, it's pretty fun. Like, it's a lot of work. I have mondo respect for the people who, like, professionally design these things.
Would you say that you almost have Mando respect?
Bruh.
No, I would not.
Bruh.
I would not say that.
What is going on right now? What is
But
he kicked the dad jokes into full gear tonight. What?
I know he's firing on all cylinders today.
What?
Wow.
But no,
It's
yeah,
these Steve Weisers, man.
Oh man.
Yeah, I've only worn my Mando suit a couple times, like once to a Halloween party where, you know, it was kind of like I was kind of overdressed. I was like stunting on people like, oh my God, where'd you get that? I'm like, yeah, it's like, you know, out of their league. Or it was like I showed up there, and then like I also wore it to a convention once, and it was a lot of fun. It was like I loved the vibe of walking around suited up, and you know people, you know, got some reactions from people, and it's great. Like it's really nice when you spend a day doing that, but it's a lot of work. Like you know, a suit like that's kind of stuffy, kind of heavy. It's like a lot of little bits and bobs on it, like things that can snap or break or go wrong.
Right, you better pee beforehand.
Although, yeah, that too, big time. Yeah. So no, it's draining, but it's fun. I actually, and another time actually, this was years ago. I was still in my 20s. I was a kid at the time. I cosplayed as Malcolm Reynolds from Firefly at a convention once, and I kind of like put together a little outfit, you know, like the trench coat and the suspenders and the gun and boots and all that, and that was a lot of fun. That was like more niche, a little more obscure, but a few people, you know, recognize it, so that was fun.
Yeah.
And then the one I'm working on now, I'm also commissioning it. It's a Sub-Zero suit from Mortal Kombat that I'm really psyched for. So,
And is
hopefully
that what you'll be wearing to KaboomCon?
here we go.
Well, because here's the thing, right? So
Same.
I can make the debut right now
Mhm.
of the custom awards that are really cool.
That is
And-
pretty sweet.
And just so they are custom, they have the date, the contest.
And it lights up.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's fancy.
It's very neat.
So-
I'll tell you, Mark, you're making a hard sell here. I think I kind of want one of those. I think I
I'm
kind of want to come
saying,
get one.
Well, you know, we have multiple. We've got 8 categories for you to
Look,
choose from.
and if you can
We've
get
already
in,
got the Mando, so that falls in Star Wars.
yeah, you can also bring the Sub-Zero. So I mean, there's no reason why people can't change. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you could try and get up early on stage, run off, do a quick change,
Yeah.
come back, qualify for multiple categories.
If you could do that, I'd be super impressed. Hey,
Yes, man.
speaking of that helmet, how was it easy? What's the vision like in that thing?
It's limited, but enough. Like I could like navigate. I could see my way around. Like I can function in it, but it's definitely like there. Like I actually spent most of my time looking through the kind of middle strip that goes vertically down the middle. Like I would just like kind of look
okay.
narrowly through that because the slit at the top that goes horizontal is like just slightly too high for my eye line sometimes.
gotcha.
So yeah, I could see well enough, but not super well. Yeah.
No, okay, that's what I was wondering about. Like I was like,
And it gets hot in that thing too. I guess
Sure it
sweaty.
does.
Yeah.
Sure it does.
So for
Yeah.
a couple of minutes, let's talk about
This is the way.
Murphy's Inc. Because ultimately, that's why we brought you here.
Sure.
And I know James likes a tangent, but let's get back on course just for a minute, and then we can go wherever. So Murphy's
Of course.
Inc. You have a unique and interesting story in regards to Murphy's Inc. And we've talked about it a little bit on the show here in the past, but
Yeah.
we've never gotten directly from you and from your perspective. So are you comfortable sharing that story with the audience?
Sure. Yeah. No problem. It is pretty interesting actually, because that is how we all met. That's how I kind of got involved in the first place, and it's led to several other things, which I'm very grateful for. But yeah, I think the entry point was I was on Facebook one day, and that is like the source for auditions that I rely on the least. Like I kind of find projects to go out for least often on Facebook, but like that one day I just happened to be I'm in one of the groups that voice actors kind of network in. Sometimes you'll see casting calls posted there, and in that particular group I saw that, you know, kind of call for auditions and a link to how to do it and all that, and it was from you guys, and it was like, hey, Murphy's Inc., we're looking for whatever. Oh, that sounds interesting, so I'll check it out. And yeah, I think it was basically like an open audition sort of thing where me and several other people were kind of in the session, and we were just kind of trying things out. And I was blown away when it was said, like, hey, well, I got the message, hey, we'd like you to be Murphy, like the Murphy. And I was like, you mean like the show is named after me, basically? That's crazy. And so I was like, I was pumped up, like, that's awesome. And
Would you say you were juiced?
I was a little juiced, yeah.
I'm juiced, bro. We don't get to use it enough.
Nicely done. But yeah, like, so it was, you know, it looked like it was going to be, you know, the principal actors. Like, I had scenes with, you know, Shandon and Jenny for, you know, Michael and Daphne, and it was kind of like we were trying it out for the first few scenes of the first episode, and it felt good to me. I was like, oh, this will be cool. And I guess, yeah, so the decision was made that, like, I sounded too much like Michael, basically, in those scenes where we had too much of a similar tone. I was kind of taking a hard-edged, like, I need results sort of boss character, and it just wasn't distinct enough from Michael. So I got that. I remember getting that email where, like, hey, we just can't use you in this role anymore. I'm sorry. And I remember reading that and just, I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty bummed out. I was pretty sad. I was like, okay, well, professionally, like, as a performer, like, I know, like, that's fine. I get it. It's nothing personal. But when I setting that aside, I was like, dang it, that sucks. And I just kind of wrote it off. I was like, okay, well, that's done. Like, I guess I'm just not going to work with those guys, and it's over. And little did I know I'd be hearing from you guys again, like, oh, we want you for this other thing, and then maybe this other thing. And so it was, like, honestly, like, it was one of the best situations where, okay, even if that situation or that role didn't work at that time for that, you know, that place in that time, doesn't necessarily mean the door's closed and we can't work together, you know, in some other ways. And so, no, it turned out great.
As soon as I remember when Mark told me that they had to do the change.
Mhm.
I was like, dang, that kind of sucks. But then,
Yes,
but then I know I got and then one of the writers, Austin, he had a project that he had sent to me, and we had kind of all talked about, and I was like, yo, like, I want to do these. And so like, immediately I remember Mark was like, let's call Connor. And so we got you on that. And then
which
afterward,
never released,
bro.
Which still hasn't released.
Yeah. So it's called Homesick. Now it's basically like an audio. It's basically going to be an audio book. Now the reason why Tara, if you were watching, please, we have to get this done. I know,
get to work, please.
I know you're doing assemblies for Murphy's Inc., but please, you got to get this done. And I told her the other day, I said, it's not for me, it's more for him. But yeah, so that's when we first worked together. And then once we had committed to doing or I committed to directing Murder by Garlic, there was nobody else. I was just like, oh no, I'm already knowing who I want for this. And so, like, you were the top of my list as, like, no, he doesn't even have to be here because he's already in. Like,
yeah, I mean, we had you audition for funsies, but it was not necessary.
Yeah,
we already knew
yeah.
it was going to be you.
Yeah, I was like,
that's touching. Yeah, that means a lot.
Nobody else. In my opinion.
Murder by Garlic was a lot of fun. Also, it was like, it's pretty cool to just, like, kind of walk in and be told, like, hey, you don't even really have to do, like, just be you and just kind of, like, let it flow. And I barely. Yeah, obviously there's a characteristic to Jack R. Abbott that I put on, but, like,
you invoked her name.
Oh, there she is.
Yes, I did. I need Homesick. I need Homesick.
Tara, I need Homesick, please.
Connor needs Homesick.
I'm homesick for Homesick. I want to go back home. Let me go back home.
Are you Phil Collins now?
Following Bone Thugs at Heart. Following Bone Thugs around in that video.
Yeah. And then, yeah, like, I think actually the first thing I was contacted about after the initial sort of audition for Murphy's Inc. was I think Scott reached out and just said, hey, can you come in and just do a part for Heritage House really quick? And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. One of the things, again, I didn't expect to hear back from anybody. Like I thought, like, this was over, but
that was again a situation where
Yeah.
I was made aware that there was a bunch of roles that needed to get filled for
Mhm.
these couple episodes, and I was like, call him, use him, please, because and I don't know if you remember, but here's the first thing on my list after season 2.
It better be. No, I'm kidding. Bless your heart, Tara. I appreciate your efforts. Thank you.
And I don't know if you remember the actual email that I sent you when we were like, hey, this isn't going to work. But I was like, I genuinely want to work with you. I think you are talented. And so, like, if I have something, you will be getting notified.
Sure, yeah.
And so that was,
And I was.
Heritage House was the first thing that came up. And it was like, you got to contact him. Like, give him something. I don't care what it is, but let's get him something.
Which, of course, I appreciate greatly. And I think a lesson there that I took away from it for sure, and that I think any actor should learn from, is that, and I think most like if you've done a few things, you have a few projects under your belt, you're like seasoned at least a little bit, you understand that like hearing no isn't, not hearing a yes isn't the same as hearing a no, basically, where rejection is part of the game. Obviously, you get really used to it, but even if you're in front of somebody like a creative type, a director, a casting director, whoever, if you get in front of them and you make an impression on them, even if you don't get the part you went out for, it's still a good thing to have been in front of that person, because you never know what kind of working relationship it can lead to. Case in point. Yeah. So,
well, I mean, I've seen multiple interviews for like stuff with the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, where Chris Pratt, for example, went for Captain America, and obviously that would have been a terrible choice, but they remembered him. They remembered him. They remembered his audition, and when Star-Lord came up, they called him in, and that was really who they wanted.
Yeah.
So absolutely. And it was unfortunate because when it came to Murphy, you did a great Murphy. It wasn't like there was something necessarily wrong with the character.
Just didn't fit that.
You sounded. It was literally, you just sounded too much like Michael.
And at the time, the season had many scenes with Michael and Murphy together, and would the audience, because it's an audio drama, would they be able to tell who's who?
Right.
Without us having to say, well, Michael, blah, 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 blah. Yes, Murphy, I understand that. And that's just, I hate that.
Oh, wow. That'd have been, no, thank you.
Yeah, like, for sure.
And that happens way too much in audio dramas that I've listened to, where like they're constantly calling out the character names, and I hate it. I hate it.
Because we don't do that in real life in a conversation.
Reminds me of that Futurama bit, the robot devil. Like, you can't just have your characters announce how they feel. That makes me angry.
Exactly, Connor. I totally get you. James, what do you think? See,
I'm glad you agree, Mark.
Yeah. So this is going to be a weird, random question, and it's just because it bothers me, and I need to know. How do you guys feel about this?
What is this? What? Oh, okay. It took me a second.
This is Vincent Kennedy McMahon. He's now playing the role of a 1920s evil villain in a do-rag.
What? Stop it!
Come on. What is?
I remember. So there was some joke that said that Vince McMahon went from being a billionaire to a telenovela villain. A villain on a telenovela.
Yeah.
He got surgery or something, and so was the mustache a
side effect? Yeah.
Not just the mustache. He's wearing a purple do-rag.
It looks like
did he just get his cornrows done?
It looks like he just got out of prison. It looks like
did he?
And
he was kicking it with the brothers on D Block.
This is what he wore to the stock exchange when they announced the new company TKO and rang the bell.
God. I gotta wonder how embarrassed Triple H has got to be embarrassed standing next to that. Like, if I were him, I'd be like, I can't be seen with you right now, dude. Like,
I don't know. He's posing. This is my father-in-law.
That's true. That is true.
I got this. I inherited this company. Yay.
Tara says, we talked about this last night. I cannot take this man seriously with that 1920s. I'm going to tie you up to the train tracks mustache.
Absolutely.
And that 2002 Nelly do-rag.
Nelly. Yeah.
Whoa!
If you want to go and take a ride with me.
Eric came through with the heat right there. Yo.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Did he this is my theory. Did he get like invited to his first cookout and he went way overboard with it? Like, hey, I'm fitting in right now, right? Like, I don't know.
Man, this man is too old. I think he's just I think it's just at that point where he's just like, nah, whatever.
I can wear whatever. I can
I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm old and senile. You're fired.
You're fired.
So I apologize,
Oh,
but
man.
so I had sent Tara a message in Discord saying, "Hey, James and Connor are calling you out," and we were talking about this yesterday, and so I couldn't resist.
Pull that one up because that's the one.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
This is what I mean. 1920s evil
What
villain,
is-
It's so wispy.
Dick Dastardly,
What
like,
Yeah.
happened to his face?
Snidely whiplash.
right?
His
Exactly.
face looks different.
Well, it's probably Botox, I'm guessing. I don't know.
I don't know. He just looks so weird.
Evil. Like this is what I think Mr. McMahon should have looked like during the Attitude Era.
Oh, I mean, he was already kind of mean and looking then, and so
You went,
Anyways.
went too far with it.
Sorry for going there, but
it's too
No,
good, though.
don't
well,
worry.
okay. Let me ask you this because this
Good.
is something else we talked about last
Sure.
night. Why does Hayden Christensen look older than Ewan McGregor?
That is
I would
is
say
that for
my
a movie
theory-
role?
That's
That's a headshot.
yeah, that's recent. Like that's
Oh,
real. That's a real
jeepers.
headshot. I would say getting bullied by the internet for a couple decades straight will do that to you. Ewan was beloved by the Star Wars community from the get-go, but
That's true.
Chris-
He was a really
Hayden
good
was
Obi-Wan.
not. Hayden wasn't embraced right away, which I always thought was really sad. He's gotten like obviously the fans love him now, but
Oh yeah, because what he's done with Obi-Wan and now Ahsoka. And,
yeah, I always thought he did an amazing job in the prequels. And you know,
For what he was given? Yeah.
for what that's the thing. Like he was given such garbage dialogue sometimes, and also people kind of ripping on him like he's so awkward and stiff. Like, yeah, because his character is awkward and stiff. Anakin is an awkward and stiff individual. Like the whole sand thing. Like he was a slave on Tatooine. Of course, he has bad memories of sand. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I always got like I got kind of revved up about that. Like, I think he got a bad rep. I think he got an undeserved hatred from some Star Wars fans for a while there.
I mean, at least he's not Jake Lloyd because that kid got demolished.
Dude, yeah, you want to talk about undeserved hate to Jake? I feel so bad for that kid.
No. Here's the
not
thing.
undeserved.
Not undeserved.
George
Okay.
Lucas even
Here's the-
said
yes.
that
here's the
kid in
reason.
auditions was so good.
Yeah, that's the thing. His
Oh,
his
wow.
callback, his audition, his callback, all that stuff was great. Apparently, as soon as they put a camera on him on set, the boy turned stiffer than wood. Every
That sucks.
like
Yeah.
all the facial expressions and everything in the movie, digital.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Digital. That
I
boy
did
has
not know
not
that.
worked. That boy has not worked again.
I did not do that. I did not know that.
Yeah.
And so,
That's,
yeah,
I
okay,
didn't
so
find that out. I didn't find that out until like a couple years after the fact.
yeah, that's wild. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And so like when it comes to just genuinely bad performances, like that's one thing. Like if you just don't like how an actor did the job, that's one thing. But like I think a lot of fans take it way too far, like getting way too personal, getting way too direct with it, like going after the actor themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Like you've seen it happen with Ingram Moses, with Kelly Marie Tran. Like there's no call for going after the actor themselves. Like
Well,
that.
like when like the hate that Chris Pratt got for Mario, I was like,
Yeah, that too.
like, bruh, like if
Yeah.
see the movie first, at least, you
Right.
know?
At least like, yeah, know what you're talking about first.
Yeah, because like some of these people, they don't even see the movies; they just already make an assumption. Like this Mario, the last Mario Brothers movie, like I enjoyed that, but you know, I also had to live through the monstrosity, which was the first one. So,
Me too. Yeah.
So yeah,
John
so-
Leguizamo as Luigi.
yeah. I mean, like, no,
Oh,
don't get
yeah.
me wrong. I like John Leguizamo and his
Love
Luigi.
that guy. Yeah.
It was what it was, but at the same time, I really like what they did. They kept it animated. I think that was the main thing. I think they needed to keep it animated.
That was the right move.
The characters were like they did perfect voice casting. Like Jack Black as Bowser, I was like, what? And then like I
That's
saw and I
genius.
was like, oh my,
he ate that up. He was all
absolutely.
about that.
He actually helped co-write Peaches.
Wow. Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all. He's a very talented musician.
and actually, so I found this out too. Just a random side thing again. But Peaches is actually, if you listen to that, it's the scales for it actually match up with Rick Astley's
Never Gonna Give You Up.
Never Gonna Give You Up.
Oh my God!
It
so
matches.
He rickrolled us.
He rickrolled us.
He rickrolled us without even knowing we got rickrolled.
It was a stealth rickroll.
You got to remember, Jack Black, Juilliard trained.
Absolutely.
Really?
Yep.
I did not know about that.
The guy's a genius. He's so talented. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He did.
I actually still need to watch
He's one of those underrated guys too. I think people underestimate Jack Black.
I actually watched that rom-com he was in, the Holiday, I think it's called, with Kristen Dunst. He was good. Like he can do some serious stuff if he wants. Like he's versatile.
So getting back on track, back to Murphy's Inc. So you got Murphy. We fired you, and then
you're fired.
You're fired.
We Vince McMahon you.
Yeah.
And
I got Zuckerberg.
And then near the end of finishing up season 1, I came up with a brilliant idea, and in my opinion,
I think it was. Yeah.
And I reached out to you, and in my head, it was very much hat in hand, because I was like, he could easily say no to this, and there's nothing I can do. And if he says no, I'm going to have to come up with a new idea for season 2, because and so I came to you, and without obviously any spoilers, I came to you with the idea of you taking over the role of the announcer, because we wanted to make some changes there. How did you feel in that conversation to go from you're Murphy, you're fired, now can you come be the announcer?
I honestly, I was a little overwhelmed with like some thoughts of like, is this like for real? Because it was one of those, it was so unexpected. It was so out of left field that I was like,
don't play with me.
Wait, really? I was like so surprised. It felt like, okay, so like that feeling of someone going so far out of their way for you that you don't know how to handle it. You're like, why would you go through so much trouble for me? That's kind of how I felt. I was like, wait, really? Like, you're just gonna like sort of build the second season around bringing me back in? Like, I was blown away. And so the ultimate troll. You're fired. We want you back. Yeah. No, it was so I was like confused and like bewildered at first, but as you explained the idea, like as I just kept, you just kept kind of walking me through the concept, I was like, that sounds really cool though. So like the confusion gave way to excitement, really. I was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Let's do it. So it was like kind of a momentary, feeling of, wait, what's happening right now? And then once you like had your pitch done and out, and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So,
I'm in.
So being the announcer on season 2, how for you, how has that felt? You've had some pretty simple recording sessions. And I can't say this enough, and I do genuinely mean it. Like, you are extremely talented. Like, when you come in for a session, I generally schedule most people's sessions for around 15 minutes per scene. And with you, I know I don't need to do that. And so it's nice to know that, if the scene is slated at 2 to 3 minutes, I know it's probably going to be about a 5-minute session or a 5-minute, for that scene, because it's 2 takes and you're done. Usually there's not a ton of pickups. And so for you, I hope, in comparison to example for what you did with like Murder by Garlic, where you were the lead and you were in a crap ton of scenes and some dynamics, is it kind of a welcome relaxation? How do you feel walking into a session for Murphy's?
Yeah, it was a interesting change of pace to kind of just come in and do the recaps and the intros and kind of be that Deus Ex Machina, I guess, like kind of that outside influence of like, here's like the meta description of what's happening. And yeah, it's like, it doesn't really seem like character work, but I guess I still approach it like character work. I'm still like being a character, obviously, but like I don't have to worry about what's happening in the scene, I guess. So no, it's a really cool change of pace to just kind of come in and also use that announcer tone. I guess like I feel like I like my my high pitch sort of like through the nose sort of like upward delivery, and I don't.
Meanwhile, in the Hall of Justice,
right? Yeah, like tonight on the Fat and Black Connection, the host run out of ideas and just let anybody on the show. Like, so
we're getting there.
Kind of.
No, just being able to kind of come in and do that. I feel like I don't get to do that sort of delivery enough. I feel like a lot of the big, I have some things in the works that are either coming out soon or like in production, and I feel like in a lot of cases I wouldn't say I'm typecast yet, but I feel like in a lot of cases I'm doing gritty or darker. Like I'm doing a lot of villains. I feel like in a lot of cases.
You do have the voice for it.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, and I like doing them. Don't get me wrong, but like I would love to have a hero, and like Jackrabbit was kind of like a chance to be a bit of a rough around the edges protagonist at least, but no, just to come in and like kind of chew the scenery and be like a wacky sort of guy. Like it was fun. It was a fun change of pace for sure. And
well, and the nice thing is when you eventually create the demo reel, if you haven't already.
Oh yeah,
having that. Because I will say, I do remember back when we first had you as Murphy, and I was like, can this guy do something else? Because like that was one of the thoughts in my head. I don't know if you remember, but we brought you in for a second recording session. And I was like, I need something different. And at that time, you didn't give a whole lot different. It was very...
Yeah, I think I had like such a cemented idea of like who Murphy was in my head that I couldn't really get away from it. But it was also like, I'm not sure what you want. So I'm just kind of like, I'll give you what comes naturally to me. But if you want something like, I guess I needed specific direction at the time and I just didn't have it.
Yeah, and that's fair.
But no, I was also not thinking outside the box enough. I wasn't like being creative enough. I was kind of like, well, Murphy's this guy, so I'm just going to keep doing this guy. So
that's one of those hard things when you have something locked into your head about what you think who a character is, what a character looks like. It's like, oh no, this is what I have, and then it's like,
right.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't prepared to like really revamp all that. Yeah, so no,
I understand.
Looking back on it, I should have just tried to go something crazy, but I will say like the recording sessions for season 2 got really interesting. I had a lot of fun toward the end there. No spoilers, obviously, but I'm like really excited for where they end up. So,
I'm really excited because I unfortunately wasn't able to be there for your recording sessions, and so I'm like,
it was fun. It was a blast.
I do gotta say, I do think we had some really fun episodes this season and some really strong directors. I mean, Lawrence Iriarte of Olympia Comic-Con fame, who's known. I think he did a fantastic job. James, he was okay. Tara did a good job, but I do feel like the director on those last 2 episodes of the season was just hands down horrible. Maybe the best.
Horrible.
Maybe the best we've had
100% horrible
in the 2 seasons altogether.
Many people are
100% horrible.
He's
absolutely huge.
Absolutely the worst mistake we've ever made.
Yeah, we actually did a poll and everyone thinks that this was the best director.
Yeah. No, the poll it is it was conclusive. I'm sorry. It was conclusive.
Conclusive? Yeah.
It was conclusive.
It was absolutely 100% inconclusive.
I will say like the hard part for me as like the showrunner is that because I know everything that happens and how it's going to happen, like I already know how season 3 is going to happen. Like I've already been laying that out, and like it's hard for me to sit here where episode 4 just aired. And we've got 11 more episodes before the end of the season.
Why?
It's like I want to get there.
I just need a massive drop.
I need it now. Let's binge it.
It's my show and I need it now.
It is challenging but it is a decision that we made is rather than doing all 15 at once dropping, it was like, let's do it a week at a time. Let's treat it like it deserves. Let's treat it like a series, like a television series, or something like that, because it deserves that. And it needs the time to breathe. A lot of these episodes,
Well, one of the biggest things that we did, we're going to more places. We're dealing with a lot more personalities. Like we talked about, I think last week. This was super character driven. Like
Mhm.
we didn't have all that in season one. Literally, like season one, it was like, oh, you see Hart, you meet Hart, you meet Philippe, you meet the interns, you meet Murphy and Michael and Daphne, but pretty much it's all Michael and Daphne, and then you got everybody, Thorgest and Eric the Red and the
Mhm.
innkeeper and the sailor. Like that's who the story was about. That was
Right.
where the story was. Like these little things we had to. It was just, oh, we got to fill in some space, so and that's fine. But this season, it's about everybody in the company.
Mhm.
So for
Right.
you as an actor, as well as somebody who I think enjoys the show generally,
Yeah.
do you read the script, the entire script, or when, especially as the announcer, right? You've got the opening, you've got the credits. So
Mhm.
so for you, do you just read your parts and then wait to hear, or do you read the whole script and take it all in?
I will admit I do kind of cut corners. I do just kind of read my part, but I'm always excited to see how it all comes together. So it's really one of those things where it's like if I have time like before a session and like I'm killing some time and doing some background research, I'll occasionally read like skim through the whole episode and see what's happening. But in most cases before recording the announcer bits, I was just kind of was reading my parts. But I actually am following the show right now. I've been having to I'm I'm kind of upset about it, but my job is making me come into the office more often now. Like I used to work mostly remote, but I've been going downtown to go to my office more often. And
Mhm.
so I'm like listening to the show in my car on the way to and from work now. And so I'm like following it and just it's cool to like hear me introduce the episode and then actually experience it as an audience member where I'm like kind of hearing it all for the first time really.
Mhm.
And but like I remember the teasers, I remember like the intro, so like I know the broad arc of it, but it's still cool to like kind of go into it blind as a listener. So I kind of like that way to experience it.
And so conversely,
Mhm.
as a person who we're done recording, the
Mhm.
season is done, it's all in the can, it's just getting processed and
Mhm.
everything, right? So you know exactly, because you're the announcer doing the recaps and all that stuff,
Yeah.
so you kind of know exactly what's going to happen throughout the rest of the season. Is there anything that you could tell the audience without, again, giving anything away,
Yeah.
that you feel like they should be very excited for or looking forward to?
Stay
Oh
tuned.
man. Yeah, I mean, if okay, I will say if you liked hearing me do the credits and the introductions, uh just stay tuned because you'll get more of what you like, but in a different flavor. And I'm so psyched for just some things to be revealed and some things to kind of twist and turn because I think it was really cool and really cleverly done the way this story sort of veers into like
We
just
we
some
we M Night
outrageous stuff.
Shyamalan them.
Yeah, yeah, you Shyamalan them a little bit. I'm pretty excited about that. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, with a twist.
what the twist? Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're listening to it right now, you don't know what's gonna like you are not ready for where it's gonna go. So just buckle up is all I'll say.
The And again, this is where it's like so interesting for me as the showrunner, and knowing I have the series mapped out for 4 seasons,
Mhm.
that it will end at the end of season 4.
Mm.
And neither of you know what's going to happen. Like James knows a
Wow.
little bit more
Right.
than most,
I
but
mean, I'm a
like
producer on the show, so I
I
have
would
to.
hope so. Yeah.
I haven't even told him everything though,
Yeah, I don't know everything. I know bits and pieces
because I
of
don't trust
what
him to keep stuff to himself sometimes. So
that's pretty much a good call.
yeah.
It's good. It's a decent call.
So lastly, just because we did unveil it just before you came on, what do you think of the art in general for the episodes?
I think it's nice. I think it captures the vibe of the show. I think it has like a little bit of a this might sound weird. This might not make sense, but it almost has like a retro futurist vibe to it in the sense of like it feels grounded in kind of like the 50s sci-fi, like exploratory conceptual stories, but it's obviously, you know, modernized with the aesthetic choices. I think it's
That's
cool. I
what we
think
were going for.
that's, yeah, okay.
It's like he knew exactly what we wanted to do.
No.
No, I like it. I think it represents the characters well. It kind of gives you it gives you something to visually put yourself there while you're listening to it. And I think that's great. I think it does that job really well. So no, I like it. I dig it. I think it's cool.
I think for me, one of the things that I like most is that one of the things that people don't necessarily realize is the true diversity that there is amongst the cast.
Mhm.
Because right now you're looking at the screen and you see two white guys and, well, there's James. But
Wow. Wow.
What do you mean by that, Mark?
well, can I say and a black guy? I don't want to offend anyone.
Listen, it's already because I already say that I'm the black guy, so I mean it's already like
Kind of
the
part of the
black guy.
show.
I mean
The
the name
black
is I am. My name is Black on the show, so
There is some
it
truth
is
there.
a fat and black connection.
That's true. You know, looking at last week's episode,
Mhm.
white guy, white guy, white guy, white guy.
Oh, they
But
were.
then there's-
they were in Greece. I mean,
They were in Greece. Yeah.
Yes. So it is one of the things that was brought up was a concern of if we give visual representation of the characters, then
Mhm.
people might in their head say this is what the person is. That's fine. That's why we sat there and we said, okay, this is what this person looks like. We figured out character descriptions.
we have full. We have. There is a full list of what the characters look like.
And while James or intern 2 does you know, he is a black gentleman.
Mhm.
He is not James though, right?
Mhm.
Because when we created a lot of these characters, we did have like, okay, we think this person should be this or look like this or feel like this.
But when we got this is when it got tricky, because when we decided that we wanted to have the characters in the art, when we were talking about that, it was like, we got to make it real. That like we could do these just like kind of AI generated, pictures or whatever. But if we're gonna like literally have somebody make these, or if somebody's willing to make these,
Mhm.
we have to make a decision. Are we going to make them look like the person, or not?
Right.
Look like, or at least be representative of the person that's
Right.
doing the role, or are we just gonna kind of go?
So James, since you're the person working with the fabulous Michael Leone from the Clone Ones LLC, who does the artwork for us,
Mhm.
I need you to make sure that one of our episodes, probably episode 9, includes the announcer in an audio booth recording the announcer bit like in one of the corners, like just as like an Easter egg. And
If you need a reference photo of me in my booth, I can get one for you.
Yes, tell Michael to watch this episode so he can see what Connor
you know
looks
what?
like.
Yeah, just send us that. Just send us that in Messenger, and I will make sure he gets that.
You got it. This is
Because
what the announcer looks like. Here you go.
every other character gets represented, but how
Yeah.
do we represent the announcer?
Well,
There we
I
go.
mean, there might be someone else to show off later, right?
Yeah.
Well, no,
that's
that's the whole thing. I think it's one of those things where we can have, because that episode. I think is that the episode when everybody's kind of doing their own thing.
Episode 9, yes, when we're
Yeah.
back at the base.
Yeah, so I mean, there's everybody doing their own thing, so I don't see why we couldn't add the announcer on there. I think that would actually be kind of brilliant.
Yes, and that's why I'm the showrunner.
That's why he gets the big bucks.
You know what? Let me go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and
I make like 5 times more than James.
I'm taking back everything I just
0
said.
times 5 is 0.
I'm taking back everything I just said. But no, like so I like that. So yeah, definitely, Connor, send us a picture.
Okay.
And we'll get that in there.
I'll look one up. Yeah, might have one handy.
Yeah.
So, Connor, this is the part of the show where I like to give you the opportunity. Do you have anything you want to plug or promote or?
Oh yeah, good question. I've been this year's been a little slow. I haven't been like auditioning as much and working quite as much. Honestly, like this past year, the most work I've been doing has been little localization jobs for an agency based in China. So the vast majority of the time I've spent in my booth over the last, like, I would say 6 months or so, has been these really quick little, I'm reading a script that I just got sent that night. Like, it's maybe translating an ad for a mobile game for English markets. Like, I'm doing stuff like that, where it's like really weird and esoteric and quick turnaround. And I'm saying stuff like 30 free downloads or 30 free summons if you download now. Like, it's really weird. And
That it was you. I knew it.
Yeah, you might have heard me on an unskippable YouTube ad recently.
Those are
so I've been doing some of that.
Horrible.
Yeah, I know.
You're the voice I hate.
My wife teases me all the time. Like, I'll tell her, like, the running joke in our house now is like, oh, I have to go do a job for China really quick. I'll say, like, that's the shorthand for the localization company based in China. I'll just say for China. I have to go. Chairman Xi Jinping needs me upstairs. I have to go record something really quick. And she'll joke like, oh, are you going to say, I need to free the princess? No, not like that. But so I've been doing some of that. But actually, that client that I work with, that company, they did have me do some dubbing for an animated movie of some kind. Oh, that nice. Like when I get these jobs, I rarely know what it's called or what like format it's going to be released on or what kind of production it really is. So maybe that'll be something that'll be finished later that I can share and promote, but we'll see. But yeah, otherwise I do have a project I'm in. It's an indie strategy RPG turn-based game. It's on Steam. It's available on Steam right now. Actually, you can download the demo for it on Steam right now. It's called Gales of Naeli, and it's similar to Fire Emblem, kind of along those lines, but it's kind of a indie spin on it. Actually, I don't think my character's in the demo, but when it's out fully and like fully available, you'll be able to hear me in it, which I'm pretty psyched for. There's another video game that I'm under NDA for, so I can't say what it's called or where it's going to be, like, who it's going to be released by, but that is in progress. I don't think it'll be out this year, maybe next year. We'll see. So that's coming along. And also, lastly, the last couple months, I've been working on actually a live action film, a short film that it's filmed partially in live action, but it's also going to be CG. It's going to be a lot of CGI. And my character in this short movie is a floating, spherical robot, kind of like Guilty Spark from Halo, kind of along those lines, kind of like that sort of character. So like, I was on set for the filming of this short film, but I'll be kind of, off camera, and like I'll be replaced by a floating robot in this movie. And so yeah, like August.
So you got to do some mocap.
Sort of, yeah. I was there as a reference point for the live action actors, the ones who will actually be on screen for them to react to and kind of reference. But like I'll be voicing the little robot that'll be on screen.
Danger Will Robinson.
Yeah. So yeah, I spent a few weekends in August and September filming for that, and that was a blast. Like, I haven't done on camera work in a long time. I haven't been like on set for like forever, really. So that was a lot of fun. It'll be on YouTube when it's out. The director who's doing that, his name is Keegan Larwin, and if you look him up on YouTube, he has some really cool movies that I've actually worked with him before. I've done a couple short animations with him also. So when that's out, I'm really psyched to share that. You can it'll be on my website. I'll have it on my website. My website is connorhowardvo.com, just CONNER Howard HOWARD.VO.com. You can find it there. It'll be on YouTube. So yeah, so I have a few things working. It's been there it is. Yeah, those are my demos, and there's some work samples down there. So yeah,
oh, look at that photo.
That's yeah, who's that handsome devil, right? I had a audiobook I put out earlier this year, some other stuff. Yeah, so I've been keeping a little busy, but nothing crazy, nothing, I'm not going to be on the red carpet anytime soon, but keeping busy right now. So
hey man, that's We're always good. Always.
Oh
good.
man, the Strata is really good. I'm like really proud of that one. It's a little audio drama I did a couple of years back, and
Yeah, I
really-
noticed Murphy's
yeah.
Inc. isn't on your page, so that's.
I know I need to update it. I have a couple
Bruh.
things to add.
Bruh.
I know.
I noticed Jack R. Rabbit, Murder by
Bruh.
Garlic isn't on there.
I have some updates to make. That's fair. Yeah. So yeah, Murder
Hopefully-
by Garlic's on there. It'll be on there. Murphy's Inc. will be on there. Hopefully, Homesick will be on there
be on there.
eventually.
Yes, Tara.
Kidding.
Tara.
Hey Tyrus, how's it going?
The voice of the sailor, and of course, he spelled your name wrong the first time.
I get that all the time. I'm so used to it. It's fine.
Well, it's like Connor from Assassin's Creed, so it's okay.
Yeah, Connor Kenway. Yeah, my
Mhm.
namesake.
Mhm.
I prefer to call him
Ratanagehu.
Rodonikaton. Yeah, that's his Iroquois name. I like his Iroquois name. It's not that hard to once you sound it out. But also, I like to say like, oh, it's Connor like from Boondock Saints, but with an E, not O.
Mm, mm,
So
mhm.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, cool, man. We absolutely appreciate you being here, and we know it's what, like 12:15 your time almost.
It's
Yeah, well,
night time.
midnight. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a night owl though. I stay up late most nights. It's not a big deal. But.
Okay, then let me ask you one last question. 'Cause
Sure,
you mentioned you haven't done a ton of work this last year. Is there
Mhm.
any association with the fact that you got married about a year ago and you haven't done a ton of work in the last year?
I wouldn't say so. Well, okay. Well, actually, yeah, that's a fair point. Last year when I was like in the midst of wedding planning, that definitely did eat up a lot of my free time. Planning a wedding is stressful. It's a lot of work.
James
I'm-
wouldn't know anything about that.
I have none, like zero.
Yeah, my wife and I, we actually kicked around the idea of like, should we just do the courthouse thing and like keep it low key and just save ourselves the trouble? Because a lot of our friends have been doing that. Like we have several couples that we're friends with who got married recently, last few years, by just doing a courthouse wedding, super low effort, super low key, and then like a year later or so doing a reception party where like they were already married, but they're doing the wedding reception roughly a year later. We have several friends who've done that, but we kind of decided, well, why spread it out? Like if we just want to do it all at once with our families there, and it'll be a great time. And our wedding was great. I'm really happy with how it all turned out. There were a few things, no weddings, it's never going to be perfect, but some things went wrong, but like it was still a beautiful day. But yeah, like planning it, just making it all happen takes up a lot of time. So last year I was like on a bit of a hiatus, and then this year I worked on a few things. I've like, just the people I talk to, like friends of mine, colleagues of mine who are also voice actors who, they're hobbyists, they have day jobs, they just do it on the side. I hear about like the pace of auditions. Like if you really want to get out there and grind, you're like auditioning every single night, like every weeknight, every free hour you have, you're just grinding to get out there. I just don't have the bandwidth for that personally. Like I really like, I make time for what I'm able to do. Everyone works at their own pace. Everyone like kind of puts into that passion project what they're able to put into it. And yeah, like this past year I've been spread thin a little bit with just work. Like my day job, like it does tax me sometimes, and like I have other hobbies, and been trying to go to the gym more often lately. I've actually I'm just gonna go ahead and show that off really
flex on
quick. Trying to
Look at those 22-inch pythons.
just I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little proud of like I'm lifting more, but no, that takes time. So like you really have to account for like, okay, well, if I spend time on this, I have less time for that. And I'm also writing right now. I'm writing a script for an original audio drama concept that I've had working in my head for over a year now. Here we go. I see you two are interested.
We're listening.
Yeah, no, when it's fully written, I'll think about producing it and like going from there. But it's
You can have them produce it for you. They'd gladly produce it for you.
That's a good point. You make a fair point. So no, it's like, yeah, just a lot of things. Without going too deep into it, my wife and I had some medical issues this last few months as well. Like the summer was just really hectic for us, so we had a lot going on. So yeah, like life gets in the way, but at the end of the day, like I said earlier, like I just enjoy the process. I'm just there to, enjoy the craft really. And so when I'm able to make time for it, I try to just have fun with it. It's really like the writing thing is like, that's kind of where a lot of my focus is, it's a project where I want it to be to a point where I can produce it and star in it. I kind of wrote one of the lead parts basically for myself. It's kind of like,
Really?
hey, why not? It's like, hey, if it's your thing, why not star in it? Like it's your baby.
The beauty of producing it
Yeah.
with a company that would want to do it for you,
Come
you get
on.
to make those kind of decisions.
Doing the
There you
Rocky thing, huh?
Yeah, basically.
All right, Sly.
I welcome the comparison. I love Sly. He's a great guy.
Expendables 4.
But yeah, so it's getting married was big this past year. Time flies by. It's just kind of like the year is it's already September already. I can't believe it. So yeah.
Sure enough.
But, yeah.
Well, I absolutely appreciate having you here, and I'm excited to hear about these projects. And we'll definitely, I am certain, have you back again in the near future. There's one thing I've got to pin you down on before I let you go, though.
Okay.
Are you coming to KaboomCon?
You know what? I'm thinking about it because, okay, so I would like to, because I've never been to Reno before.
Okay.
I've been to Vegas a couple times, a few times actually, like 3 times. Once when I was 12, which is a funny story.
Can't do that.
22
Okay.
and like 28, I think.
Yeah.
But no, like I would love to come visit Reno. I'd love to come see you guys and like just be at the.
Well, no. So here's the thing. He's in Reno. I'm in Vegas. So if you come to Vegas, you best let me know.
Absolutely. You'll be the first to know.
But KaboomCon is not in Vegas.
KaboomCon is a different thing, and that's like a
Yes.
year away. So you can already plan that out.
Yeah, no, I definitely could. I could start looking at flights, hotels. Like I could make it happen for sure.
You need to, because there is going to be a Murphy's Inc. panel, and we kind of need you to be there. So.
Oh, okay. Well, if you need me to be there, then okay. That's all there is to it. Done deal. No, I honestly would be. I would be psyched to like just come out there and do that. That'd be cool. Yes, visit, says Jenny. All right, yeah, okay. I could be persuaded. I'll start looking at flights, I guess. That'd be fun.
And your what was Tyrus's character name? Munch. Your Munch. Murder by Garlic reunion.
Munch and Jack back together. Yeah.
Many people from Murphy's have already confirmed they'll be there, and
cool.
so
very cool.
Yeah.
So excited.
I gotta say, yeah, like last notes, like I also often think about James's character from Murder by Garlic, Reverend Weeks. I think you murdered that part, dude. I love like just the way you just kind of come. Let us pray. Like, I thought it was so good. I love.
Well, because like the only reason I didn't even plan on because like I just didn't like nobody.
That's BS. You said early on I want to do this part.
I did say that, but like I was totally trying to find somebody that could would be able to do it, and I just didn't.
I think we ended up with the best
so
person
like,
for the yeah. No, I think it ended up perfectly.
I'm just saying. I was just like,
I don't know. I feel like the announcer on Murder by Garlic was very solid.
Yeah, he was all right, I guess.
Quite enjoyable.
No,
it wasn't a well-written part, so he had to work with what he had. Unlike the announcer for Murphy's Inc. The announcer for Murphy's Inc. has an amazing writer. In whoever is writing those parts,
top shelf material to work with on that for sure.
Absolutely.
Hooray on names.
But no, I would love to come out there and be part of that. That sounds
and I'm
fun.
your announcer, Dr. Howard.
And thank you for listening. Tune in next time.
You know what's funny is that I remember when I first heard the first announcer, I was like, I kept thinking of what was it? Legends of Korra, the announcer that they had.
Yeah. I don't remember his name, but I know who you mean. Yeah.
It was like
I-
the news. It was basically like the old, like kind of like the old school
News of the
newsreels.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was doing the announcer for season 2, I had always had in mind, I was kind of thinking Quagmire from Family Guy. That's kind of where my head was, because and Seth MacFarlane has said that Quagmire was basically based on like 1940s radio guys who would do ads, like so that's like what he was thinking of when he wrote him. And so that's kind of, I'm channeling that ancient spirit of, I'm on the radio, you are hearing me from miles away. Yeah, that's crazy. Like, and just kind of that classic delivery.
Yeah, no, it's funny because like I listen to like I think I've said before, there's this radio station on Sirius called Radio Classics, and they have some of those old announcements, and I'm like, these are so bad, but so good all at the same time. It's Maxwell Coffee.
Camel cigarettes.
Yeah, or like the
taste and tea for throat. Get your T-zone tasting great.
Buy Acme lead paint. It's high quality.
It'll keep your walls painted for decades to come.
Don't lick it though.
All right, we're getting a little too crazy. Let's shut this thing down.
Bring it
Again,
home.
the fantastic Connor Howard, announcer on season 2 of Murphy's Inc.
Oh yeah.
The
You're too kind.
amazingly talented voice actor for Homesick, the soon-to-come voice Homesick, hopefully. We've got Shirashima Nibu is the announcer for Korra.
Shiro Shinobi.
Okay.
Oh, all right. Good to know.
Durag Vince pics were photoshopped.
Do-rag was photoshopped.
Durag Vince were photoshopped. Okay, well, I didn't have time to fact check it. So
Good to know.
they look very good.
Yeah, thank God. If
I
that's
believe
the
it.
Thank you for correcting the record, Steve. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
I actually wish you wouldn't have. I'd prefer to think that those were legit.
Let
Yeah.
us go on believing.
Because again, I mean,
stop.
this looks really good.
Yeah.
Like,
It matches his suit, though. Like, it's an accessory.
You know, at the same time, I could almost see Vince pulling something like that up. I remember, like, there was a couple episodes. Vince went a little overboard,
I could see it.
and yeah, got a little into that sketch territory.
yes.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh,
man.
let's shut this thing down, shall we?
Shut it down.
Let's shut it down.
All right, say goodnight, James.
Good night, James.